All right, let's start that again. My gosh, I recorded about 2 minutes of just really awful teaching, or at least worse than normal. So let's talk about Chernobyl. Let's talk about what we're going to do today. Again, I'm going to try to pretend I didn't record this already, do it better. So today we're going to talk about Chernobyl. Chernobyl. Maybe you've heard of it. If you're in what classes C, D, and E, you definitely should have heard of it because we did a little bit yesterday. But with class B, this is the first time you'll hear of it. But we're going to read an article today. We're going to watch a little bit of a video, give you a little background into what happened at Chernobyl in 1986. That's actually the first question on the Google form. And we're going to talk a little bit about the future of Chernobyl. But what should we do? Maybe we should read the article first. Let's take a look at the Google form. The Google form here. All right, there will be questions here just to check to see if you've been following along. So if you look here, I'm asking you to restate the question to make your answer more complete. I have a typo there. That's not good. I noticed that last time. Describes. No. Describe, using evidence from the article or video, what happened at Chernobyl in 1986. So you want to restate that in some way. So you could start off with back in 1986 at Chernobyl, and then you write your answer. This happened. So it's not hard at all. Take those extra steps to make your answer just look a little bit more complete. The exclusion zone is. Now, with answers like this, to show that evidence, you get how big is it? The article is going to state how big the exclusion zone is. So that's just more detail you can add to prove that I know what I'm talking about. Right? So try to put in those details. Numbers are always they're facts. Like if the article says it, it's a fact. Hopefully the editor did their job or whatever. But it's a fact. It's hard to dispute. The exclusion zone is you explain it, and then you can talk about how big it is. It's good evidence. Good evidence, okay? So please put a little thought into those questions. Like I said, 3 points apiece, 2 points for a really good detailed answer. 1 point simply for restating. If you have questions about that, come see me. So the next one I would love to share with you is this thing. We can start reading the article, make this bigger. This will be printed out because I'm hoping you look back at the article. We're going to read it together, but I'm hoping you'll look back over the article for that good evidence, numbers, names of people who are important, maybe. Those things really make your answers pop. And some of you have been doing that right along. So awesome. Hey, yesterday you started. I don't know if you were nervous or not. I was kind of nervous for you, but you were picking your high school classes. Whoa, only 4 more years until you graduate. You'll only have to pick classes 3 more times ever. Is that crazy? At least for high school. All right, so let's get those answers a little bit better for some of you, not all of you, a little bit better than they have been. All right, let's go. This is all about. Let's read the title would be huge because there's something important there. The first word, opinion. So be careful. Not a fact. It's one person's opinion. Maybe this person. I don't know. Could be her opinion, maybe. I'm guessing. Could be a guy. Could be their opinion. Let's go with that. Their opinion. Russian capture of Ukraine's Chernobyl nuclear plant threatens future research. Okay. So it doesn't threaten the world, doesn't even threaten Ukraine, but future research. Nuclear power plants. It's always good to look at the picture. Okay, I don't know what that is. Looks like a farm maybe or something. Could be grain held there, but this is about Chernobyl, so probably not. Let's see what it is. Shelter construction covers the exploded reactor at the Chernobyl nuclear plant. Among the most worrisome developments as Russia invaded Ukraine was warfare at the Chernobyl nuclear plant, where radioactivity is still leaking from the history's worst nuclear disaster 36 years ago. Okay, so that sheds a little light. Looks like this thing is there to protect some nuclear reactor leaking radioactivity or radiation. Not good. Yesterday, just a real quick recap, we talked really briefly, though, just in case you were in Class B or in case you weren't here yesterday, or in case you were sleeping or in case you forgot. With nuclear power, it's like it's pretty clean. It's pretty clean. It doesn't put a ton of junk into the Earth's atmosphere like if you were burning oil or gasoline. However, the waste, the byproduct left over from nuclear power is really troublesome because there are certain ways that it has to be taken care of delicately so it just doesn't, make tons of people sick and makes the environment unlivable. So there are drawbacks, but Ukraine, I believe, has like 11, and they get a lot of their power from nuclear power. So if you are an invading country and you want to cut power off to the citizens, you need to take control of these nuclear power plants, and it could be a messy job. You don't want, most of those things are really well protected. Small, like the fire from guns probably won't penetrate it, but they talked about it. We'll get to it. All right, here we go. Here is the article with a warning. Following article contains sensitive content that might be upsetting for some of our readers. You know best which contents works for your classroom. That's the teachers. Okay, I think we'll be fine. Here. Maybe we should. I love maps. I hope you like maps. But right here, Chernobyl, not that far. I think it might be like 10 kilometers from the Belarusian border. Over here, this is where a lot of refugees are pouring into. You got Poland, you got Slovakia. We can't see that country, but I believe it's Hungary, Romania, and Moldova. So those are the Crimea. That's the part that was Ukrainian, and then Russia took over in 2014. All right, here's the article. We'll just read, about half of this. So it's a good length of article. More about this person here, Carmel Mothersill. Oh, she's a scientist. I don't know. And professor at McMaster University. The opinions expressed in this text are those of the author. So opinion. A lot of these, she or he will probably add some facts in here, but just know this is from someone's opinion. I never can say this one. That's another nuclear power plant. Let's read this here. Russian forces are currently occupying Chernobyl nuclear power plant, and this, supposedly, it's the biggest power plant in Europe. So, and that was, I think the Russians seized that just a couple days ago. On February 24th, 2022, Russia launched an attack on Ukraine. As part of the attack, the Russian military took control of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. Chernobyl is located about 58 miles from Kyiv, capital of Ukraine. Nuclear power plants are facilities. Okay, good. This is probably a fact, not an opinion. Are facilities that generate electricity for use in everyday life. Many power plants burn materials such as coal or oil and use the heat to generate electricity. Nuclear power plants are similar, except they use nuclear reactors as heat sources. The heat boils water for steam and then pushes turbines, pushing a generator to create the electricity we need. So pretty simple explanation there of how nuclear power plants work. Sounds pretty safe. It's not. If things go correctly all the time, they're not that bad. But inside nuclear reactors is a type of radioactive uranium. Radioactivity is a property of some chemical elements spontaneously emitting energy. Spontaneously, I'm sure there are some people in this class that know this. You may have heard of the term spontaneously combusting. What the heck does that mean? Spontaneously. The energy, sometimes called radiation, is beneficial. So it's a good thing, beneficial. It's beneficial when we can harness it in reactors, but can harm living things that come into contact with it. Now we got a little bit of history here. On April 26, 1986, a nuclear reactor at the Chernobyl plant near the city of Pripyat, Ukraine, exploded. So at the time, if you remember, we talked about it yesterday if you were in class, that was the Soviet Union back then. So one country, Ukraine, Russia, all the same country. It was the world's worst nuclear disaster. The fire burned for 10 days and sent radioactive material into the air, stretching across Europe as far away as Ireland and Ireland and Greece. The immediate area around the reactor was evacuated. For 36 years, an area with a radius of 19 miles, called the exclusion zone, has been kept off limits to people. Now that is a great sentence that you might want to use for your Google form. All in one sentence, says exactly what the exclusion zone is, gives a nice definition of how big the thing is. The Ukrainian army typically allows only those associated with scientific expeditions into the area. Wow, there's some loud talking over there. Dangers of stirring up Chernobyl. So why don't we wait until tomorrow to finish this article? The next thing we'll do, hopefully we have time. The next thing we'll do, we're gonna be really pressed for time, is we'll start that video at least. And this video is about 10 minutes long, and it's going to go over even more of Chernobyl. So anytime you're writing a paper for high school or whatever, you want multiple sources. So that's what we're doing here. We're going to have a written source, and then we're going to have a visual source. That's good. Written sources are great. Visual sources sometimes are a little bit more fun, but it just depends. Hopefully you like writing. I know so many of you don't, though. So for those of you who like to read, maybe the written source is just as good. I like the written source, to be honest, because I can look at it. Like I said, there'll be copies on the back table. I can look at it. I can highlight it. It seems a little bit more real, but it's up to you.